Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. The Select Model and the Pros. And let me give a shout out to Master Teacher BGS because he actually sparked this model I'm about to present. He actually sparked it, and it's still a work in progress. I'm still really doing research into it, but it's something I've seen for a while. Now, as you know, Master Teacher BGS introduced the octane model, but then he also introduced the diesel model, and these are in terms of rating women. And of course, the octanes are the regular type of women, the everyday type of women, the ones going for relationships. But the diesels are the sex workers. And it's a totally different paradigm. And I was like, and it sparked something in me because I was like, now people know I've talked about select, non-select, as well as a few others have talked about it. We're talking about it like back in the 90s. And what I did was add to it with some other folks. I added to it, to be honest. So it's a collaborative effort. But I always said there was something outside of it. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, okay. But then I started with the diesel when BGS talked about the diesel. I was like, oh, you know what? That's it. Because it's a different thing. Now, of course, when I talk about select, non-select, that's a sexual hierarchy. Now, the select guy, of course, is that guy that women find sexually attractive. And the non-select, they got to bring a little bit more to the table or some extra stuff to really get attention. They not, in general, not sexually attractive to a woman. And just to reiterate about that part, because you have a lot of people on here talking about, well, they're select because they're making so much money, or they select because they educated. No, the select, non-select model is a sexual hierarchy determined by women. It's who they want. Just like we're looking at a woman and saying we rate them 1 to 10, they looking at us saying he's select, he's not select. That's it. That's why I always said if somebody wants to know, if I really want to know if a man's select, he can tell me all he wants. I'm gonna put him in a room full of women and just watch their reactions. That's gonna tell me right there. That's how you know. That's how you know. You can think it all you want, but at the same time, that select, non-select thing is more of something like for dating, sex, relationships. And it doesn't have to do with a woman giving money. Now, I said select model and the pros. See, you got to kind of separate the pros out of it because the pros are operating at another level. Now, who are the pros? Now, BGS said the sex workers, of course, are the diesel. The diesel women are the sex workers, and they dealing with a man on a different basis. And because of that, they actually have a great understanding of sexual nature, male sexual nature especially. But the pros, they the equivalent. And who are the pros? The pros would be the male exotic dancers. The pros would be the high-end gigolos, or the street gigolos, or the penthouse gigolos. Any man, or sometimes could be a homosexual. Because if a man is dealing with a woman where money is exchanged, or at a lower, that one with maybe when she giving him gifts or something, that's a gray area right there. But I would just definitely say if money's exchanged, where this man, he's basically trading his sex appeal for that woman's money, or that man is trading his sex appeal to pretend to be that woman's boyfriend, because you have a lot of these women, they will pay a guy to pretend to be their boyfriends. I mean, I know gigolos now, yeah, and y'all be surprised. And most of them are going to be physically attractive. Most of them are either physically attractive, face, body. Some of them just the body. They're gonna have something. And it's a different vibe because you're dealing with a woman on a different basis. Because one thing, even with the select, non-select, that's more surface world. That's more surface world. Now, there's another gray area about those select men who can go into the underworld, but that's kind of separate too. Like, just to be clear, that's why it's funny when people say all this. It's like, dude, it's all about sex. It's all about sex. Like, all that other social stuff is really go out the door when sex is involved. In most cases. I mean, yeah, there's a cultural aspect to it. There's a, social class and all of that, but that's more about the relationship aspect of it. But you're still not really exchanging money directly. But the pros is a different vibe, a different energy, and really a different mindset. Because it's funny, I find it interesting. And maybe I'm telling on myself a little bit. I'm not admitting to anything, though. But it's amazing when I've had dudes who were pimps, and pimps they in their own category too, just totally different. But when you look at pimps or exotic dancer types or dudes who are gigolos, they've actually read my stuff, like actually read my book, not just listen to videos, but read my stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, this it. Whereas I had people more on that select paradigm. They'll read it and it's like the select guys get it. The non-select guys don't. In most cases, they don't. They be looking at it like, huh? What? Or either they like, oh nah, this ain't it. This ain't, he don't know what he talking about, or it's just over their head anyway. They don't know whether or not I know what I'm talking about either. But then the select guys get it, but the pros get it the quickest. And it's a totally different vibe. Because instead of like most men are tricks, let's just be real. Most men are tricks. Instead of the man really trying to cater to the woman or tricking, the woman is she's giving her money up. She's willing to pay for it. And despite what some people think, it's not so much they control the man that way. They just paying him. In fact, a lot of times they paying them to dominate them. Yeah, I know that's some deep stuff. But it's a different vibe. It's a different energy when you see it. When you see it and know what you're looking at. See, some men might see it and not know what they're looking at, or not see the dynamic, because there's a lot of subtle stuff that you have to know what to look for to see. But it's interesting. It's interesting, but it is different. It is different. It's a separation. And sometimes, honestly, a lot of times when what can happen in the pro world, in the professional world, and these are professionals at game. You guys, they're getting paid for it because they not only attracting women, but they're going to have advanced seduction skills as well. It's a different perception, different energy, different vibration. It's almost, in fact, it can be very invisible. Like I said, to the untrained eye, you might not notice anything. You might not realize it, but then it's like, huh? Oh yeah, like those cases with the penthouse gigolos. You see that woman, and she really ain't all that, but she got this fine dude. And somebody might be thinking, oh yeah, well that's a great couple. It's like, nah, she might be paying for something. Might be, There's those instances where they might not necessarily be a pro, but just a regular select dude. But it's an interesting nuance, and it's something I'm still looking at it, because a lot of it goes into the underworld, and then you gotta start talking to people, get their trust, and then they open up to you. So, but I wanted to throw that out there. Because I think a lot of times people, they'll give relationship advice or try to examine relationships like everybody's experiencing it the same. Like select and non-select, definitely in that experiencing it the same. And in many cases, the select guy, he can be generally select, but he might not experience it the same way as a pro. He might not have women buying him gifts and all that stuff, or willing to give him money, but he's still getting play. So it's some differences out there. Because, Rom loves studying social dynamics. I love paying attention to subcultural things as well. But I just wanted to share that today. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Something to think about. If y'all got, I'd like to see what everybody thinks about it. It's not the completed, finished product yet. It's just, let's just say I got to talk about it. In fact, if anybody out there has been in a game like that, exotic dancer, gigolo, male sex worker, hit me up in the not the comments. Hit me up my contact information. Hit me up privately. All right, hit me up privately because I actually want to interview you. Because as I said before in another video, I'm I know y'all see me cursing, driving my car and stuff, about to run over squirrels and whatnot. But also still very much a researcher and academic, and I do research. I do still do the field research. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Let's start a conversation on this. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.